What up, my friends? So I was just thinking, the last leg of my fitness journey for today, although I do other things, but it's like if you wanna be marginalized, if you feel marginalized, if you act marginalized, people are gonna marginalize you, whatever the fuck that means, right? If you feel like a victim, people will victimize you. If you think your life ain't shit, your life will be shit. I hear people all the time, oh, my man ain't shit, my girl ain't shit, my kids ain't shit, my boss ain't shit. And meanwhile, their whole life is shit, right? It's a mindset, If you want to be physically fit, you will become physically fit, right? But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the hours. You got to put in that blood and sweat. If you want to be successful, you have to put that successful mindset, right? You have to put in the hours. It's the same thing. I learned from losing over 100 pounds and becoming more physically fit than I probably ever have been, except for maybe in my teens and 20s, in my 50s now, that I had to put in the work. I had to put in the hours. I had to put in the physical strain, right? I had to, the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, the doubts, I had to walk through those doubts. I had to make lofty goals. And once I attained those goals, I realized they weren't as lofty as I thought, And so what that has taught me is that if I want to have my business be way more successful, I have to put in the hours. I have to put in the time. I have to put in the effort. I have to walk through the doubts on them slow days, right? Because, I start doubting myself. I'm like, damn, I only did like 3-4 cuts today, And I'm like, oh man, am I doing something wrong? And then, I examine that. And if I am doing something wrong, I adjust my attitude. I adjust what I'm doing. I adjust the times that I'm there. I adjust the hours I put in, If you want a great life, you have to make your life great. If you live in that bad attitude and that victim mentality, your life's going to be bad. You're going to be a victim. You got to change the mindset, and then you got to put forth the effort. You have to change the person that you bring into every situation. If it's not working for you, you have to change it so that it works for you, or so that you work for it. You can't sit there and expect people to cater to you, to give you everything, I grew up harsh, right? But, my life is good. My life is good. I lived in that victimhood, I lived in that drug addiction, and that everything was somebody else's fault. It was the court's fault. It was the police's fault. It was my parents' fault. There's something very liberating when you figure out everything is your own fault, good, bad, or indifferent. When I'm successful, I celebrate that,